This Mountain West preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Cram?
Dog. Sean, perhaps our favorite conference in all the land.
Oh yeah,
at least you and me. I don't know about Colby.
Colby, are you a big Mountain West fan? Colby Dant from the College Football Experiences joining here, talking college football previews. Where are you at with your buddies at the Mountain West?
Do you have a Kleenex?
What's that?
Because this is the last year we get the Mountain West like that.
Oh.
All right, and I actually think it is in a way like it. I'm kind of split on it, but this is, I think, one of the best coaching conferences for this season. I almost wish, though, a lot of these coaches are in year one or year two. I wish we could see all of this together for like 4 or 5 years, because I really believe you can make an argument that this is the best coached conference in all of college football.
That's a pretty hot take.
I'm serious though. Like I really believe that.
They're going through and jotting down some of my notes from the Phil Steele guide. Yeah, like, there are a bunch of good coaches. We'll see. Colby, for people who.
Why is this your favorite conference, Sean?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot of elevation talk, which I enjoy. Big fan of Air Force football. I do like UNLV
and America.
Yes, yeah. As part-time Las Vegas residents, I like when the Rebels are doing well. Colorado State, Fort Collins, great town. Hawaii's like an interesting team. We've had some fun moments betting on Hawaii.
Everyone
San
loves
Diego
Hawaii.
State, our gals. Laramie is a great place for college football to be happening. Extremely high elevation. Yeah, so it's
3 reasons.
Yeah.
1, the left coast is better than the right coast.
Oh wow, hot take.
Clear and obvious. The mountains are bigger. The beaches are better.
I do like the mountains.
The humidity's lower. I mean, literally, beach is better, snow's better. Like, come at me. Second, the Mountain West embraces the Circa.
Yes,
we love the Circa. They love the Circa. Sean and I have even had some cocktails with the commissioner
of the Mountain West.
Of the Mountain West with Derek. So. And she was definitely enjoying the hospitality. Yeah. So shout out to the Mountain West 3.
They play their championship game on campus.
Well, we like that, but
very good.
3 is they embrace the late window on Friday nights. Sean and I are at the Circa every Friday night. There's always plenty of real estate to be taken on the Circa screens.
And the late Friday, late Hawaii games as well.
Yeah,
well, just
besides the Friday,
just
night
embracing the late window in general.
I actually think they should attack it a little more. I've asked the commissioner.
I agree.
About
I mean,
that.
we've talked about how Maction is smart and how the FCS maybe should embrace week 0, like ways to get yourself on an island. Well, having the left coast advantage for time allows them to say, well, all right, guys, like, how do you not just mandate night games?
Yeah,
I understand there's some of this as alumni. You want to have day games. You're going to do better with ticket sales there.
But yeah, I mean, on the West Coast, if you had 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock kickoffs on the Pacific time zone, people would be watching still Saturday late night on the East Coast.
Colby brings this up all the time. If the TV networks are taking over college football, why not why not showcase the best that these campuses have to offer?
It's actually puzzling.
And you talk about some of the better home environments. What's better than that home environment under the lights? I mean, we discussed this in the ACC. How you don't have more night games in Blacksburg during the week is just plain R word.
Just in general, like, there's, you're funny.
See what I censored myself?
Yeah, but like just the fact that there's over 260 Division I college football teams, you should spread it out over the whole week.
Yeah, we should
Not all
have
the same.
primetime games
Every
every
single day.
game except every day
Not
except
Sunday.
Monday and
Don't
Thursday.
do Sundays. No.
My
Thursdays,
advice,
like they always did.
my
Yeah.
advice to college
Thursday
football,
before Thursday night NFL. As long as you bow to.
But everyone has
football.
two TVs.
Yeah.
You got to go to fucking like Amazon Prime or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Get a
well, I
second TV.
do think college football has dialed back their attempts to Thursday night ever since the NFL showed up. I mean, there were a lot. Colby would agree with this. I think there were a lot more like rivalry type big time games.
But I think it's a little bit of both. I think yes, the NFL TV number obviously is ridiculous, but also I think they protect their schedules more. I grew up in the I remember watching the SEC on Thursdays in the 90s.
No, I agree. I mean, if an NFL team could make their own schedule, there would be 0 Thursday night games.
No,
and so
that's what I'm saying. So I think people started like conferences started to get smart about, hey, this is a shorter week. We shouldn't fucking do this. The power conferences.
Well, and I think that's why you've seen kind of the as we just talked about, the rise of the Friday night games gives you a little bit more time. But yeah, I mean to the TV scheduling part, hey, how you're not just all agreeing, okay, we're gonna kick at 9, noon, 3, 6, and 9. These are the windows, like load up.
Yeah. So
it does annoy me when they kick at different times. I like the mass kickoffs all at the same time.
Really?
That's an NFL thing. I think in my brain. But what I'm saying is I'm arguing for more windows, but be synchronized.
Well, my thing, I just wish the NFL would spread out and do more 4:00 games. I mean, when I was watching the NFL nonstop, I was like, man, they need more from the East Coast time zone, like the 4:00 games.
Again,
you know
that's why the left coast is better.
Colby,
thank you for making my point.
Let people know who is going to be in the Mountain West this year. Who is in there? Who is in there last year of the Mountain West? And do you think it impacts the handicap at all?
Definitely, I would say, as far as like some put clear. I think the one that was big was Utah State, because that was the fringe one that I guess had lied to the Mountain West saying we're coming back, and then because when they were forming this new Pac-12, we knew Fresno was out, we knew Boise was out, we knew San Diego State was out, and there was talk of UNLV, but we kind of thought, okay, well. That's not enough teams for a conference. Who else is in this thing? Colorado State being another we knew, right? And Utah State was the fringe one that made it look like for a second. It made it look like for a second there was going to be no more Mountain West. But credit to the commissioner there. She quickly jumped on it, added a bunch of teams. So it's going to go down to 10 teams next year. So those teams all go to that I just mentioned.
So
Fresno
lose
State,
5.
Yeah, Fresno State, San Diego State, Boise State, Colorado State, Utah State, all going to the Pac-12 next year. They add in, first off, not football related, but Grand Canyon and UC Davis for all the other sports. UC Davis, I think, has something in the contract saying they could go to football down the road once, because UC Davis got a new stadium.
But Grand Canyon's very interesting conference play.
Yeah, they need to get their football program rolling. And then
they seem interested in spending money. Grand Canyon.
Yes.
Like Grand Canyon's one of these schools.
They have they're on the you could buy stock in Grand Canyon. It's on the stock market.
Well, that's what I mean. Like they seem like they're trying to be ultra competitive, so it's only a matter of time.
Then they made Hawaii a full member. Remember, Hawaii was just football before.
Yeah.
So all sports.
That's tough. You got to go down there for volleyball, wrestling.
Their basketball program was good last year, though. And then this is why I'm split on it. They add UTEP.
Ding, ding, ding.
I mean, you guys know, I think the Sun Bowl is the greatest stadium in America.
Wait, not the Liberty Bowl?
No.
Sun Bowl. Isn't Sun Bowl the perfect stadium for Mountain West?
Yes. They should host their championship. Like, as much as I love it on campus, on whatever stadium has whatever team has the best record, part of me is like, wait, you are the Mountain West?
It's a perfect mountain.
It is so perfect.
It's built into a mountain.
It is so perfect. And you're in Texas. So, I mean, it just fits. So I love that angle fitting there. And then the random one, I like the program, but it's just, I think a lot of college football fans are like, what the fuck is Northern Illinois doing? They beat Notre Dame. They're coming into the Mountain West next year.
Yeah.
We're going to have one team that makes no sense geographically.
They have no mountains in Northern Illinois. What the hell are they
doing?
doing?
Yeah.
Well, at some point you're just trying to get the best programs, I guess.
Yeah. And they've been a team that's played for the BCS back in that era when they played Florida State.
That's a little aggressive for me. I do like.
Well, they had to do something because the conference was going to fold.
UTEP is cool.
I also think
UTEP's really cool. I wanted them to get New Mexico State and UTEP.
I don't think the commissioner's dumb. Getting into Illinois also gives you a gambling market.
Yeah.
So there's potentially other motives there.
Let's get it, and let's get after it. We got 12 teams to break down, gentlemen.
Well, we're not going to let Colby ramble forever about all these teams, as much as we like them. The future.
You just said you love the conference, and he's shitting on it right now.
I love the conference.
Shot clock is loaded.
Looking at the futures odds, very similar to the ACC. You have without a real like high dollar favorite, but you still got the Boise State Broncos, who shout out another program that has embraced the circa. Remember Derek up in Boise handing out Ashton GT Heisman tickets to the alum, 32-1. Everyone else is 1,000-1. Sean, so plenty of long shots to be had. Let's start. And shout out to Pick Asso for the slides. Beautiful slides. We're going to start with the Air Force Falcons, Sean's favorite branch of the military.
Aim high. Let's go.
And again, I can't say I've seen this specific logo with the bird carrying the bolt. We have a win total of 5.5 this year, -162 to the over, +132 to the under, 16-1 to win the Mountain West, 50-1 to make the playoff, and 1,000-1 to make the college football championship.
This Troy Calhoun is.
You're a big Troy Calhoun
I
guy.
think he's the top 10 coach in America.
They have a geographical advantage.
Well, they last season they lost a ton, like a more than normal amount of production, and
they got completely destroyed. And you saw it in their game. They were
first like 6 games,
1 and 8 or whatever to start the game, to start the season. Then they won 4 in a row,
and those were against Fresno State, Oregon State, at Nevada, at San Diego State. I mean, they beat Oregon State 28-0.
No, they came on late, which totally makes sense. A bit, essentially totally resetting the roster. They closed out strong. Yeah, I mean, nice. They won at San Diego State, at Nevada, lit up Oregon State, and even beat Fresno State. So I think, and that was after getting losing to Army 20-3. So they closed out the season very strong. I think they're going to take that momentum. I don't know if they have a chance to win the Mountain West, 16-1, but certainly over 5.5. Our buddy Phil Steele says they're the number 9 most improved team, 14 returning starters. I mean, I think in general this program is a very good program. Colby, you did a good job of identifying a letdown spot for them last year, but I think they're going to bounce back and hit the ground running. We can pull up their schedule, but you're gonna need to talk me out of this team getting 6 wins.
I will say the schedule is a little tougher than I thought, but I still just have blind faith in Troy Calhoun, and this offense will be a pain in the ass. Ask Boise fans, who's the team that gives them the most trouble in the conference every single year? It's Air Force by far. Troy Calhoun has had good success against Boise State. Not a lot of teams have had success against Boise State.
And this is going to sound like a weird comment, but he also has very strong sideline demeanor. No, he looks like a football coach.
Yeah, well, and that's what you need.
You're at a military academy, so I guess part of that is comes with the territory.
He played there too. So
Bucknell at home, then bye at Utah State.
Hate to buy that early though.
Yeah, don't like that, but it's I guess it's fine, especially for considering their momentum from last year. You probably don't need that early bye. Boise State, you get them at home.
Well, you got Utah State though, and I like that one week 3 because Bronco Mendenhall, after 1 year at New Mexico, jumps to Utah State. He grew up like 2 miles away, but I think
they got 2 weeks to prepare for that.
You want to get a first year head coach with a new roster in the first month or so in the season.
Well, specifically him. He hasn't started super fast, right?
But last season, dude, I thought he might have done the best coaching job in America because it took a New Mexico team that a lot of people thought would be a 1-win team, took him to 5 wins, almost made a bowl game. Had they not blown that week 0 17-point lead in the 4th quarter, they would have went bowling. But then yes, getting Boise week. I actually think it's good to get Boise that early too.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that Hawaii comes to Falcon Stadium when it's warm. I prefer that game to be later, but I still.
But at least it's better playing them at home.
Sure.
Than going to Hawaii.
Then you got the Commander-in-Chief game, which in Annapolis there on October 4th.
Revenge.
Yeah. And then at UNLV, Dan Mullen is the new head coach at UNLV. He's brought in a bunch of talent. That game should be intriguing. Then you got a rivalry game against Wyoming there.
You get that at home. You don't have to go to Laramie.
Yeah. Then you get a bye week before Jeff Monken and Army come to town.
Army also off a bye there.
Then this is where it's tricky to me. It's like those 3 games in a row. Army, then at San Jose State, who I'm very high on this year, at UConn, and then home to New Mexico with Jason Eck coming in there, and then at Colorado State. Now he's traditionally owned Colorado State, but last year he finally took an L. He's won, like, I think Troy Calhoun's been there like 17, 18 years. He only has 2 losses, I believe, to Colorado State. So I do expect him to get back on it in that matchup there. But it is a tough schedule. But yeah. I still think that there's no way they're not bowling.
I just love the way they finished last season. I thought this was this is a nice bounce back year for them. He's a good coach. It's a good program. They have a nice home field. They're getting to 6 wins.
Couple notes: the Utah State game is also right after Utah State has Texas A&M.
Ooh, nice.
And then later on in the season, the back-to-back road spot where you have UConn after San Jose State. UConn will be coming off the Duke game.
Ooh, all right. So
so you have some potentially advantageous scheduling spots to go with. It seems this feels like a fanboy pick from all of us, but I'm with you guys.
Well, I just trust Calhoun. I mean, this is a guy that can take it. How many times has this dude beat Notre Dame? You know what I mean?
I don't love the 3 out of 4 road games at the end. I don't like the back.
Schedule is tough, but I more times than not, he gets his teams bowling. Now, I will say, like, the non-con, I thought was like UConn was an 8-win team a year ago. Army obviously went 11-1. And then Navy beat Army and obviously was beat Oklahoma in the bowl game. So the non-con is actually very challenging. Besides the Bucknell game,
he's 135-89 at Air Force, and you go through and you look at his seasons. It's very, very rare. And last year was one of the rare 5-win seasons, but he doesn't really.
I thought that, like,
for the most part, they don't really bottom out as a.
I didn't even think they were going to win 5. So in that way, that light, I was like, damn, he did a good job knowing that he lost that many players.
They're going to come back.
And to me, this Boise State game is like a pivot point because Boise, not that they have a look ahead to Notre Dame because Appalachian State comes first.
That's still a change.
But they come off of Boise's off a bye to play Air Force with then an App State Notre Dame stretch. So I wonder how much of that bye week will be spent on Air Force versus Notre Dame. I'm with you guys. Let's go over Boise. Speaking of which, Boise State, which blue turf, everyone's normalized. Fortunately, they made rules so other teams can't make horribly colored turf. This is a great logo. Shout out to the state of Idaho. Been keeping my eye on Idaho lately. A lot of freedom going on up there.
You're renting U-Hauls?
A lot of freedom going on up in Idaho. Boise coming off that fabulous undefeated season in the Mountain West, 11-1 overall, 9.5's the win total this year with a massive -220 to the over. Just move the number. +176 to the under. We have a -130 Mountain West price. Which again, very fitting, 2-1 to make the playoff. So this is an interesting conversation to have. Can they possibly make the playoff without winning their conference? Or
I don't think so.
No. Or if they win their conference, are they definitely in the playoff? Maybe not.
Probably just because they were there. They're like the blue.
They're a name brand.
Yeah.
To me,
name brand.
I'm going to pause right here and say, if you really like them, how do you not just take the playoff price? Yeah. Yes, there's probably a path to them winning their conference and not getting in. But to your point on them being a
you're
name
getting
brand,
2-1.
It's a 12-team conference. They're going to have to be decent. 32-1 to win the national championship, which seems like a very short price. Colby, are we riding with our Broncos?
I think they're a fascinating team this year because obviously Ashton Jeanty's no Las Vegas
not
Raider.
Here.
Raider.
But you
can't wait to see him at the Circa.
Madsen should take a step forward. Remember, this was the guy that started over 5-star Malachi Nelson, and that's Malachi Nelson is
soft ass Malachi Nelson.
I gotta give Boise's coach credit for that. That takes some fucking balls when you have a 5-star that you've paid, your NIL collective has paid for.
But you just got
this 3-star no name, and
it's
you
like
just,
Russell Wilson out playing Who is it that they signed?
Flynn.
Matt Flynn.
No, it would have been like if they had like a real quarterback.
Yeah.
Like Malachi Nelson was like a former. Wasn't he one of Lincoln Riley's recruits?
Yeah, he was like the
next.
Some
Caleb
people
Williams.
had him as like the number one recruit in the nation.
Crazy how soft he must be.
Keep an eye on the running back Sire Gaines. That's
a horse
Gaines?
or a person.
Sire Gaines. They also brought in Malik Sherrod, who he's been on the show.
Oh wow, nice flex.
Malik Sherrod, Fresno State starting running back under Jeff Tedford, but the running back room is actually, I think, really good. And then Chris Marshall at the wide receiver spot. This is a guy that was a 5-star from Texas A&M, transfers in. Now he was there last year, but I think he had to sit out or something, a certain amount of games. Latrell Capel's back at the wide receiver spot as well. I think we just have to dive into the schedule because
I think they're going to be good, but I think I could also get them to 3 losses. And you add on the idea that these teams that are staying in the Mountain West, isn't this another like kind of one last shot at Boise, one last shot to knock them out, send them out on a loss?
Yeah,
I feel, I don't know, maybe I'm misremembering, but I feel like teams that are leaving the conference get the best shot of teams staying in the conference.
Well, and like I started the show with, like, the coaching is really good. Now that doesn't mean like Boise shouldn't be favored to win the conference, but like last year, Boise got very, very fortunate in a couple games where I do just think the coaches have the capability to get up for one game and potentially clip them. But the schedule starts off week 1, and this is a tricky one. And look, South Florida is a team
in August though. The heat and humidity.
Yeah. That's a 5:00 kick if memory serves me correct.
They're going to be bad though, right?
No, they're projected to be a contender in the AAC this year. With Alex gonna go to the Go Lesh there as the head coach. But
well done.
I'm gonna take Boise, but I'm kind of fascinated by that game just because
Boise's laying 10.
Yeah, but we see this all the time. Week 1 in Florida
and playing at 5:00. Well played, South Florida.
And you see what I'm talking about with this. So at USF, Eastern Washington bye, and then it's at Air Force, App State, at Notre Dame. I know it's a stretch, but the at Air Force piece of that does seem a little bit like it could be not the focus of their bye week preparation.
And what about, is App State a crazy sandwich spot / look ahead for Boise State, looking ahead to Notre Dame?
I mean, App State's a giant killer, and they're going to treat this one like a giant killer. I love this game on the schedule. Thank you, Boise State, for putting this on the schedule.
Their non-con is insane.
It really is.
Eastern Washington, I assume, is still
they're a solid FCS.
Solid.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. He's back home.
Yeah. You're going to lose one of those games, right? I mean, I would assume the Notre Dame game, but Boise is a giant killer in their own right. So I just expect them to have a loss, if not 2, by the first 5 games.
Yeah. At 4-1, I think is fair, but they could be 3-2.
Oh, I think it definitely. I think they're going to lose either against, like, to your guys' point, they could dump the first game or the Air Force.
You got to love the bye week before Air Force, though. That's Boise does that shit on purpose. They know that Troy Calhoun fucks with them all the time. So
after Notre Dame,
4-1 feels optimistic, but they could run the table after Notre Dame to the next bye week.
So then they have New Mexico at home, UNLV at home, at Nevada,
which could be like Jeff Choate, the head coach of Nevada.
So did you say Chode?
He comes from Boise. Okay. Like, he was part of that Boise Chris Peterson team.
That's fine. Yeah. That team needs a lot.
Yeah. Fresno State at home. So I'm with you, Kramer. They probably, at the second bye, I could see him at 2 losses, maybe only 1 though.
So they played 9 games at this point.
Yeah. Right.
So, they're going to be 7-2,
maybe 8-1, but 7-2 sounds about right. They could be 6-3 though.
I think 7-1 or 8 or 8 or 6-2.
Then you have at San Diego State, Colorado State at home.
That's
Utah
the
State.
one I circle, because you're giving Bronco Mendenhall 1 year. Like, if you're a Boise fan, you would rather play Utah State
him right
earlier.
up front.
Yeah, that's the Utah State one. I think is a very dangerous game for them, because Mendenhall will by that point you're basically in year 2.
It's a bowl game.
Yeah, you're basically in year 2, and that place will be fucking rowdy.
I think the Colorado State's on a back-to-back road spot there. So
I think they beat San Diego State and Colorado State. I think it's the Utah State game that is tricky.
So that's not. So we're basically we're saying that the number is good.
I'm going to take the over though. I think they're going to go 10-2.
Yeah.
At -220. No.
The problem is the juice is so wonky.
Yeah, I guess you got it right.
We casually gave them 3 losses.
I'll go under 9.
And that was with no random conference game where they lay an egg.
I'm not going to be looking to fade this team. I think there are some fun spots to fade them
with the juice. Give me the under then, I guess. Yeah.
Because it's
So at 9-3, if they win the conference, are they in the playoff?
Depends if they beat Notre Dame or not. Yeah, I think if you beat Notre Dame, you're going to say, okay, put these guys in.
They don't have another opportunity to show out, right? Eastern Washington.
They
UCF.
do, because they don't play a team that I'm very high on in San Jose State until the Mountain West Championship. Which, if Boise was to make the Mountain West Championship and play San Jose State, who I think is a really good team this year.
Yeah, it's interesting because the conference price being -130, playoff price 2-1.
I have that as my Mountain.
So we're all on the under. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
All on the under. The Mountain West loves the Circa, and so do we. That's why you got to head over to the Circa. Anytime you're out there, promo code SGP15 gets you 15% off your stay at the Circa. And while you're there hanging out at the Circa, come say hi to us. We're going to be hanging out there. College football week 0. Colby's going to be out there doing some live college experience episodes. We're doing our recent show August 21st through the 23rd. It's the ultimate sign up weekend. Great time to come out. Sign up for Circa Million, Circa Survivor, 21 million in guaranteed prizes. Maybe you're one of those crazy fucks who wants to do Circa Grandissimo, 100K entry fee for that one.
Sticking with your prediction.
What did I say?
19
and a half signups. And you said way
37.
higher. 37. And so what you think some like poker, because you can obviously figure out ways to play 100K Survivor as a group. And
yeah, we see it. So basically 100% of people who are playing poker in tournaments at a professional level are staking themselves for all of these tournaments. And so maybe they've only sold 20%, maybe they've sold 80%. You don't think there's going to be a number of groups that come in? I think there's you have 2 types of people. You have the rich athlete gambler type who's like, oh cool, 100K contest. You have the high stakes poker dudes who are definitely going to get in and probably want multiple rips at the pie.
You know, I'm a degenerate.
And I think then you'll have just the random rich guy.
Well,
like random Vegas whale who's like, what's this $100,000 contest?
And Survivor, NFL Survivor, the game theory is different when you have a ton of entries versus if you have 20 entries.
Oh yeah.
A Circuit Survivor, so fun. You don't want to win your office Survivor and not be in Circuit Survivor. The regular Circuit Survivor, 15 million guaranteed. That's probably going to be up there towards 20 million, I would guess. We'll see where that lands. And then Circa Millions, where you pick the 5 teams against the spread. Contests are so fun. Highly recommend it. You have to sign up in Vegas. Great excuse to come out to the Circa. Again, promo code SGP15. And while you're there, we also have a deal with the proxy. Footballcontest.com. Promo code SGP. Vegas Maddie will save you $50 off your proxy fees. Footballcontest.com. Promo code SGP. And we're also brought to you by my good buddies over at mybookie.ag. Perfect place to get down on some college football futures, some NFL futures. It is very easy. Just deposit, withdraw with that sweet cryptocurrency. God bless you, Bitcoin. Head over to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN.
All right. We have, again, favorite conference, so many teams. Fort Collins, Colorado, awesome town. Colorado State, home of, you know what they used to, you know what they used to be called? I don't know if you know this, John. I know Colby probably knows this, but Colby, do you want to share with Sean what Colorado State's name used to be?
A&M.
Colorado A&M.
Yeah, come on.
Oh wow, okay. Insulting that you wouldn't know that.
Yes.
8-4 last year. 6.5 the win total this year. Plus 130 to the over. Minus 160 to the under. 16-1 to win the Mountain West. 55-1 to make the playoff. And like almost all of their conference foes, 1,000-1 to win the national championship. Let's see, Colby. This is if I'm going through the notes correctly. This has been a team that you've been high on historically.
Well, I did cash the over last year, but I took a shot on them to win the conference, and they were in position to play for the Mountain West Championship before they laid an egg against a Fresno team that, without Jeff Tedford, with an interim head coach that was 6-6, you bums. God, like that was, I knew it was going to happen too. I was just like, this team's just not that good. But thank you for cashing the over.
But they did, they were 8-5,
but that was a gift last year. The schedule was perfect for them to go to the Mountain West Championship.
This year's schedule's way tougher.
Oh yeah.
They play the big dogs. It's also their last year in the conference. I don't know if that's, I'm kind of grading that as a bad thing for some of these teams.
Well, yeah. Colby, are you doing the target on your back?
I think Boise definitely has it, but
Colorado State maybe not as much.
I think Utah State actually has it too, because they were the fringe one for a second there.
They were the last team.
Well, they had basically told the Mountain West that we're staying, and then
those backstabbers.
Braden Fowler Nicolosi's back at quarterback. He's a solid lawn chair that can throw the ball around. But they lost some key guys from this team. Now they did go out in the portal and add a bunch of guys. It'll be interesting to see how fast that they fit. But to your point, guys, it's a big year for Norvell. I think he's still on the hot seat despite that season a year ago. And at Washington's a huge game out the gates. Then
that's tough.
Northern Colorado should be a win there. It's a rivalry game, but I mean, it should be a win. Then they get a bye week and they host UTSA, who I'm very high on in the AAC. And then they host Washington State, which is intriguing because Washington State went out and got South Dakota State's head coach, the Jackrabbits, who brought in like 20 of the transfers from South Dakota State.
Ooh,
so you're almost playing South Dakota State, who went to Fort Collins and whooped their ass in the past 5 years.
Pause. Why are they playing the Apple Cup on September 20th?
Because they're not in the same conferences anymore.
This is horrible.
Next year it's week 1.
That is disgusting.
Be careful. Washington State plays the Apple Cup the week before this.
Yeah.
FYI.
Yeah. That's good to note. But then they head to the Snapper on Friday at back-to-back nationally televised games at the Snapper, and then against Fresno. Then home to Hawaii, where Timmy Chang was once a part of Jay Norvell's staff. And then at Wyoming, battle of the boot there.
Not a lot of road spots outside of that. Washington, I mean, the San Diego State team doesn't exactly have the most electric home environment.
True. And then you get a home game against UNLV, which you're hoping it'll be snowing or something, because UNLV's a pussy little dome team. And then you get at New Mexico, at Boise, home to Air Force.
Stretch.
Yeah.
Brutal stretch there to close out the year. I mean, this is one of those teams where you got to feel good about the wins they can get before the bye, because they're one win after the second bye is pretty realistic to me.
Yeah.
So can they get 7 wins before, or 6 wins before the bye? Northern Colorado, UTSA.
Oh man, this is tough.
Maybe Washington State in a flat spot.
You could see them 7-5, but 8-4 doesn't seem possible.
I got them 6-6, man. Yeah, I think they'll get to a bowl, but it's a tough schedule. Like when you think about when you think about the roster, like I think UTSA's roster is better than theirs. Right?
Yeah.
I know it's in Fort Collins, which makes it a little tricky. Washington State, I kind of think the roster could be better. They're kind of a mystery team, but
after the Apple Cup,
but I mean, even UTSA, Washington State at home at San Diego State. What's their record in that 3-game stretch? I'm thinking they're going to lose at Washington, so they already have 1 loss there.
Yeah,
they might lose 2 there. They might only lose 1.
What are the for sure wins? It's just
Sean, if you can't get them to 6-2 before the second bye, you have to go.
No,
under.
I'm on the under. I like Colorado State. To Colby's point, I just don't think they're just an okay team, and they don't have the benefit of the roster that they did years previous.
It's just like the talking about. Well, at least my perspective on Boise. It seems like the likelihood that they get over is hinged on this like stretch of the schedule where they can't lose any games, and they're not a team that I want to.
They're gonna fuck something up.
Fresno State coming off an 8-4 year. Let's see, the total is now 6.5. Nice logo.
Ooh.
That Bulldog looks like it's ready to get to business.
Looks like it needs to be on a mud flap right away.
Sticking its ass up in the air. Like, is that a twerk? These modern, these modern,
they're freaks.
These modern bulldogs, you put the music on and they just throw their ass up in the air. Fresno State is 6.5, -140 to the over, +112 to the under, 10-1 to win the conference, 30-1 to make the playoff, 1,000-1 to win the national championship. Where
part of the, I'm kind of fascinated with this one. Like part of what I say, like the coaching, I wish they would stay together, is the hires they've done recently, whether it was Mendenhall coming in, or
Matt Entz,
who's won multiple national championships in the FCS. Choate at Nevada, who was at Montana State playing for national championships in the FCS and was at Boise prior. They've really kind of killed it on hiring good coaches, in my opinion. Jason Eck at New Mexico too. But Entz is an interesting one, mainly because this is a guy that ran the fuck out of the football at everywhere he's been, really. So
Colby, you hear the way Colby a little pep in his step.
Well, it's just different because
running the ball.
Fresno, even when I was a kid back in the Jim Sweeney days with Trent Dilfer and stuff, like
they're
always kind of like great skill position players. So I'm kind of
Derek
fascinated.
Carr went there. Derek Carr.
I think now they have the QB EJ Warner, but to your point, there,
Kurt Warner's son.
Yeah, probably gonna look to pound the rock.
I'm out on this guy.
I'm just struggling. I think Matt Entz might be able to turn the program around, but a very tough road schedule. Only 9 returning starters. You have a new coach. You have a new style of play. I don't know, man. I don't think this is Fresno State's year. And to get them to 7 wins, we'll walk through the schedule. You're gonna have to talk me into an over, Colby, because this is dead nuts under for this team.
Yeah, I mean they do have a 5-star defensive end from USC who had a beast year last year that is coming back. But they open up week 0 at the first game at the redone stadium there at David Booth Memorial. Yeah. I don't think they'll win that game.
Yeah. At Kansas, that's a loss. Georgia Southern at home.
That's a great game. Clay Helton coming back to California there. I think Fresno can get Georgia Southern. That's a far trip.
Yeah.
That environment. I think that give me a win there.
At Oregon State in Corvallis. You got your work cut out for you.
Yeah, I think I'd probably say Oregon State should be favored there.
Then you have the Southern Jaguars of
Baton Rouge there coming in.
Yeah, at home. Then you go at Hawaii.
Yeah, so I that Hawaii game's kind of a fringe one on I think the win total, but I would say definitely good for 2. Like at this point, I think you're gonna have at least 2 wins.
Yeah, that's fair. They do get their bye breaks up kind of nice here because you get a bye.
They play week 0. They get 3 of them too.
Yeah, you get a bye. Then you play Nevada at home, and then at Colorado State. Then you get another bye. Then San Diego State at home, at Boise State. You get Wyoming at home.
Yeah.
There's a couple of spreads that are available for Fresno State, catching 13.5 against Kansas, laying 2.5 against Georgia Southern. So
that's not a guarantee.
Well, it makes me think they're going to be dogs in a number of their games.
Yeah.
And
I just trust Fresno State's talent. They bring in better talent than almost every team in the fucking conference. So you have to go back to like the 70s, the last time like a coach really failed here.
This is by far one of the more interesting buy distributions as well. The rest, the end of the season, they're going to be fresh as shit.
Yeah, Wyoming at home, but
two games by, 2 games.
Utah State at home. Then they close the season at San Jose State, which I
Battle of the Valley.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sticking with my gut. Give me the under.
I'll take the over.
6.5 is a lot.
I'll take the over here. I think 7-5 is what happens.
Kramer, what are you doing with Fresno State this year?
Under. Yeah, it's another team where just the range of distribution seems to be favoring an under versus
and it's a new head coach.
Obviously.
He's got to win that. He's got to win that Georgia Southern game.
The Hawaii game's big too.
Yeah.
On the island.
Well, and then
whoa!
Oh my God! All right, Kramer, are we allowed to show this?
Jesus Christ!
We're gonna be labeled adult only.
I gotta blur this. Hold on. The Hawaii. Super
Hawaii.
What is this character on the
Rainbow
screen
Warrior?
Right,
yeah,
but what's on his feet? Fire?
I think sandals.
No,
but he's on top of
lava.
a rainbow.
That's lava.
Is that
dude.
lava?
Yeah.
So the lava's turning into a rainbow. He's basically naked, and he has one of those weird like dick things on his helmet.
Got a football though.
Yeah.
He didn't fumble.
He is holding the football.
Good ball placement there.
Yeah. He's got the hand over the tip, 3 points. Anyway, Hawaii coming off a 6-6 season, still don't have their stadium ready. Now it's 6.5.
They keep adding on to that stadium.
5-7.
It's
stadium.
getting better.
It's 5.5 this year. Are they just never going to build a stadium?
I have no idea. I think
gimmicks?
I've heard that they announced it, but who knows? I mean,
minus 154 to the over, 126 to the under, 18-1 to win the conference, 70-1 to make the playoff, 1,000-1 to win it all. This is a team that, in theory should have the best home field advantage in the conference, but they don't.
I think this is a good year for Hawaii though. Year 4, Timmy Chang. And if you look at some of these,
I've been impressed with his coaching.
Yeah. 18 returning starters, and the ball didn't bounce the right way for them. They were -8 in the turnover differential. If they get a little bit of turnover luck,
they should beat UCLA week 1.
And the continuity of these returning starters, they had some. I feel like just off the top of my head, they had some chances. I do like Chang year 4 now?
Yeah, this is year 4.
He's 2-15 straight up on the road. He's got to win some of those road games, but I think they can get to 6.
And I'm going to go ahead and say it's really like year 3. A lot of coaches turn in year 3, but he walked into such a strange situation where there's basically a mutiny against Todd Graham. The players all left. His own son, Todd Graham's own son, left, saying like "fuck you, Dad." And then he was like a late hire, so I don't even know if that first year really counted. He was
probably not a lot of his kids he recruited.
Yeah.
What a logo.
Yeah. I mean, Hawaii's like, and one of the low key things that was interesting, and I asked Timmy Chang about this last year, was he hired Dennis Thurman, Rex Ryan's longtime defensive guy, who'd been in the NFL for a long time, former USC guy, before played at USC if memory serves me correct, and I thought he brought a physicality to that defense. I kind of liked the hire, and it turns out the way that he knew each other was Dennis Thurman was at USC recruiting Timmy Chang at one point. I do think the roster is the best it's been in Timmy Chang's era. Now you still are starting a redshirt freshman quarterback most likely. That could be a little tricky, but let's look at the schedule here. One of the things I do love is the Stanford Cardinal. Are a fucking mess as of like
good time
April.
to get them.
Yeah.
And remember, Stanford is going to Hawaii and then has a bye after this. So perhaps this is like a training camp trip for Stanford.
Yeah.
Looking at the schedule also, it's 5.5, right? They should have a travel advantage against a lot of these teams they're playing. They play 8 home games. So right off the bat, it seems, we can do this.
Even if they just go 6, like if they go 5-3 in their home games and win 1 road game, that's the formula. Kramer, are you able to scroll up?
Yeah, I was just
on the schedule. So these, like you said, starts with Stanford at Arizona, Sam Houston at home,
and Sam Houston's breaking a new coach. And
nice revenge.
That's week 2 for Sam Houston.
Yeah.
So I like that spot. Then Portland State. I love that game. Probably honoring June Jones and Jerry Glanville, who coached at both. But Jones played. That had to be the connection, right? Then Fresno State.
Yep.
Then at Air Force.
Well, you skipped Portland State. That's
what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry.
Smash it.
Guys, I got this team with 3 to 4 wins at that first bye week. The Fresno game is huge, but I think they're going to lose at Air Force, and they're probably going to lose at Arizona.
They're catching 13.5 against Arizona. They are catching 2.5 against Stanford.
So maybe
I think they beat Stanford.
4-2 is pretty reasonable, I think, for this Hawaii.
They'll be favored in 3 games. And the Stanford game is a coin flip.
I got them beating Stanford. I think they'll beat Sam Houston. I think they'll beat Portland State.
4-2.
Oh, where's the 4th one?
Fresno.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going there, buddy.
Then they get that bye week. They host Utah State, and then they're in Fort Collins in October. That'd probably be cold by then.
Little nippy.
Little nippy.
I'll say they get maybe Utah State there.
Okay, another win there. Then another bye. Another 2-game stretch at San Jose. San Diego State at home.
And that's an interesting thing there is Timmy Chang was actually coached by Ken Niumatalolo's dad in high school.
Bad blood?
No. No,
but they should. They could probably beat San Diego State at home.
I think they can beat San Diego State. I said
Yeah.
San Jose State's a loss to me. Then another bye week, and then at UNLV, they said, what do they say? That's the ninth island or whatever, right?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
They might be live for that road game. They're going to win one road game.
The circuit's going to be
two.
Loaded with Hawaii fans for that Friday game.
So Stanford, Sam Houston, Portland State gives me 3.
I mean, we played the game, right? They can. Which home games are they losing? Are there only 2 of them?
I'm on the over.
And then last but not least, Wyoming at home, which is where obviously you want to play them. I think they get to 6 pretty easily.
I'm on the over. I think they're a bowl team this year. This is the first bowl for Timmy Chat.
Are we considering a Hawaii ticket?
18 returning starters. Like if this team gels, and I think,
all right, Sean.
I think the conference ticket
Yep.
depends on what we get out of this red shirt quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Because
fuck it, let's get a ticket.
What is it? What do they do in the conference?
18-1.
Yeah, that's
70-1 to make the playoff.
No.
Oh, they would.
No.
What do you mean? No.
Why to make the college football playoff?
If they go 10-2 in the Mountain West, are they in?
They would have to win the Mountain
They'd
West
have to win the Mountain West, I think.
All right. So, but
Michael,
18-1 to win
Micah
the Mountain West.
Alaho, I believe, is the name of the quarterback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds
Aloha.
like a local.
And again, you're gonna want to check out YouTube. Colby has an absolute fire rendition.
Pablo Picasso
Of the come on, you gotta say it with more deep depth in your.
You keep correcting my
Picasso. Like get a Antonio Banderas breath in there.
You can make the pronunciation more impressive.
Now let's move on to Nevada. Remember, guys, you got to add it up. Sean and I are basically locals now. Coming off a 3-10 season, 2-10 before that. Colby was explaining to me why they were allowed to play a 13th game.
I like
the Hawaii loophole, we'll call it. 3.5's the win total this year. -128 to the over, 104 to the under, 80-1 to win the conference, 100-1 to make the playoff, 1,000-1 to win the national championship. This team was not very good last year.
I thought they made great strides.
Well, they didn't win a conference game. So.
I'm just saying, like, if you knew how bad they were, and that schedule was tough, they almost beat SMU week 1. Georgia Southern almost played for the Sun Belt Championship. They should have beat them. They lost by 3. So, like, the way they were getting their ass whooped the year before, they barely lost to San Jose State. I thought they did it. I thought they took big strides with that, with Chote and Chote there in year 1.
Which, by the way, a chode is the area between the genitals and anus, also known as the taint, gooch, or grundle.
Oh, good grunt. Cash the grundle over references that people will probably get betting on.
So, Wolfpack's a solid logo here, Colby. I think you put a lot more effort into the Mountain West than you did the ACC. We got, like you mentioned, the schedule is tricky. And I think this is one of those teams where
do you know who's starting for them at quarterback, guys?
Tell me.
Brock Purdy's younger brother, Chuba Purdy.
Chuba Purdy.
Yeah, former Nebraska Cornhusker.
So
how do you get the name Chuba?
I don't know.
Not Chuba.
Chuba. It's not a.
Brock and Chuba.
How do you spell it? Is it CHUBA?
Yeah, CHUBBA, I believe.
Okay.
Purdy was kind of a dog as a quarterback, but I imagine
he
that
looks
was
exactly like his brother, but
very
just
lucky.
Stonier. So
they start at Penn State. Then they have Sacramento State, still a very solid FCS program. Colby.
Not only that, they hired Brennan Marion, UNLV's offensive coordinator, with the go-go offense there.
Oh, so
and they brought in like 30 FBS transfers because they're trying to jump to the FBS next year.
So that's a losable game.
Very losable game. But
and you have Middle Tennessee State coming to town, which I'm guessing they're not that good this year.
I'm gonna they'll get Middle Tennessee.
And then at the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky,
it's not easy.
Do they have a win? One win at this point?
I think they'll have 2.
They might have 2.
Yeah. Give me 2.
They are catching 45.5 points against Penn State.
Give me the points.
Give me the points. Yeah. Couple fun nuggets. Nevada is coming off 4 net close losses, which is always a good sign. And their conference yards per game, another like sign of them moving up. Now they're only returning 7 starters, which is not a great sign for continuity momentum. But
so you're saying a team that went 0-7 is due for a little regression in the positive sense?
I think you're looking at it incorrectly. I think the wave of talent, he brought in a bunch of transfers last year. Some of the veterans, it's another cycle of that terrible team he inherited.
Yeah, he washed out.
This is another time you can go back to the portal and bring in guys. So
no,
what year is this?
I think
year 2.
I'm with Colby. Yeah. I think they got 2 wins before the bye.
This terrible team at least won 2 games in conference, though. Worth noting. Before he got there, so then you have a 4-game stretch here where this is a very difficult conference stretch. Fresno State, our gals coming to town, at New Mexico and Boise State coming to town. San Diego State and Boise State are 2 of the programs that travel to Vegas the best.
To Reno though?
Sorry, not to Reno, but Boise State will be there. I'll retract my comment on San Diego State. Do they win a game here?
I'll give them a game. Yeah,
maybe 1-3.
So I got them 2-8 right now. And I appreciate them breaking the schedule up nice and even for us. And then they close out with a 4-game stretch, which that is kind of nice. You have these 4 thirds at Utah State, tough spot. San Jose State, Colby keeps talking them up. At Wyoming, tough spot.
At Laramie, end of November,
and the rivalry spot.
Battle for the Fremont Canyon.
Do they get it? Is this?
They're gonna beat them. They're gonna beat UNLV this year. I got them at like 5-7, 6-6.
Yeah, I'm with Colby. I'm optimistic on this team. I like this fight of this team. I think the Purdy kid can be all right.
I'm gonna isolate that and play it on some NFL episodes. I think that Purdy kid could be all right.
I'll take over 3.5 for this team. I think they got the 3 wins last year, and I think they're in a better spot.
If they can beat Sacramento State and Middle Tennessee, I think we're good to go. So I'll go over as well.
Okay. 3 overs.
Well, I was fairly pessimistic and I got to 3 and I gave Sacramento State a loss. So they just need to pick up one.
I think they're well coached. And I think they're trending in the right direction.
The Lobos of New Mexico coming off a 5-7 season. I was just out in beautiful New Mexico, ate a lot of green chilies. Love them. 5-7, like I said, now 3.5, another basement dweller, +110 to the over here though. So actually even lower than Nevada, -134 to the under, 18-1 to win the conference, 100-1. No, is it 180-1 to win the conference? Holy Toledo, 100-1 to make the playoff, and 1,000-1 to win the national championship. They're not doing that. Colby, is this the worst team in the conference this year?
I don't think so. This is a very fascinating nice logo, team. This is a very fascinating team.
Phil still does have them last. You got the new head coach, Jason Eck. You're only returning 3 starters, and the toughest schedule in the Mountain
West. Your
non-con
is ridiculous.
Is the case against them?
That's the thing. But like, I haven't even truly dove into the schedule yet. But one thing I just want to, Jason Eck, I think is an excellent football coach.
Yeah.
And if you look at what he did, he was part of Montana State. He played offensive line at Wisconsin, right? Was with Colorado in the late 90s, early 2000s when they were good. I really think they did a great job. It was like heartbreak when Bronco Mendenhall left, but apparently like he got it. They were bringing in a new AD, not the guy that hired Mendenhall, and Mendenhall left for his hometown. Like he's from right outside of Logan. So I get it. But, I think they hit I think they hit a home run here. Like he's basically bringing in this
Idaho.
No, just like an FCS all-star team, right? Like, so when he took over Idaho was not very good. 4-7. The year before that, 2 wins. The year before that, 5 wins. He took him to the playoffs each year and got better each year. And what was amazing about that was he had last year they went 10-4, his best record he had at Idaho, and he did it with his 3rd string quarterback, right? They almost beat Oregon at Oregon, right? The year before that, he had a different quarterback who won the Walter Payton Award, Giovanni McCoy. He loses him and he improves. Like he's done a really good job at Idaho. So I'm kind of buying into the fact that this team could be. I mean, the schedule. Let's break down the schedule. But I'm kind of fascinated by it.
Year one.
Week one.
What's that?
Year one and week one, right?
Well, yeah, but it is year one, and they do open against Michigan, which I would imagine is going to be a disastrous disadvantage in terms of talent on the line of scrimmage.
Sure.
Idaho. What do we think that number is, Colby? And
Michigan minus 31.
34 and a half. Okay. Close. Got to focus those lasers. Idaho State. So leaning on his
possible win there.
Former FCS rivalry at UCLA.
It's tough. Tough.
Please, Jason. Please do this.
Oh,
you almost knocked off Oregon last year.
Wow.
Look, that was a 3-point game, like in the fourth quarter in the Oregon game, right? Or like they were in that thing.
And then a bye week. So what? 1 and 2.
Yes.
Then you have New Mexico State.
That's a win.
At San Jose State.
That's
at
a loss.
Boise.
That's
back to back.
Yeah.
Very difficult back to back spot there. Nevada at home.
They could win that. They could win Utah State too.
To me, right there, you circle that stretch. They'd probably have to do a little damage. They're probably the Nevada win. Utah State, that'll be a tough one. You want to get them earlier?
Well, that's going to be hilarious because, like I said, Mendenhall left and broke the hearts of the fans. They thought like, hey, so that game's going to be pretty rowdy.
Who's it going to be bigger for? Well, Mendenhall or the fans?
Fans looking out for that.
I think.
And as Sean likes to remind us, Albuquerque, not a city you think of with
sneaky
elevation. And then at Vegas against the Rebels into a bye week. How many conference wins do they get here in this, or how many wins do they get in this 6-game stretch?
I mean, it's tough. They could lose all of them. They could also, I could see them pulling an upset against like UNLV or something. But
I'll be optimistic and say 2.
So they're sitting at 3.
Yeah, I got them at 3 and 6.
I think but then did they get a win in these last 3?
Colorado State at home. That's a winnable game.
I got a win there on
at Air Force, and then San Diego State.
Come on, Friday, November 28th in Albuquerque.
Yeah, I guess we're on the over again. I mean, conservatively, I can get to 4.
They need to stay healthy because one thing I'll say is like,
I'm a little worried though, because Colby, this handicap seems to be just based on the fact that he likes this coach. Which looking at pictures of him, he does look like a fascinating head coach.
But also,
he's going to be a Power 5 head coach soon.
But is it year 1, right? Because a lot of these guys, it does take a little bit to get things going.
But the guy, this is like the Signetti thing where you come over, you had success immediately at FCS. You brought a lot of guys in that are going to buy into your system.
What do you think the Idaho State spread will be, Colby?
The New Mexico Idaho State game?
Yeah.
I think they'll be favored by 2 touchdowns or something. Yeah.
You know what? You're supposed to take over on these low numbers, Sean.
All right. You guys talked me into it. Let's go.
Way too many overs so far. We'll have to adjust on the fly.
Over 3.5.
Next up, what I could be wrong here. Our first adopted team of the podcast. Oh, yeah.
San Diego State. Look at that Aztec.
Look at this
Warriors. Logo. He's ready to just rip someone's heart out and sacrifice them to the gods.
And
virgins are about to get burned right now with that guy. Look at them.
I don't even know how close we were to losing the name Aztecs. It seems like for whatever reason,
it's in the safe zone.
San Diego State is skirted by.
3-9. Too busy longboarding and eating fish burritos.
It's been a rough couple years. We've almost had to kick our adopted team out of the house. 4-8, and then 3-9.
I was surprised how bad they were last year. I thought with bringing in Sean Lewis.
Yeah, you would think.
This one I was really wrong on last year. I felt pretty
year
good
2
about
of
that.
Sean Lewis.
Well, Sean Lewis was the guy who left the head coaching somewhere in the MAC to go be the OC at Colorado.
Yeah, and
then Prime was like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Well, and also, like Colorado's offense got better. Now maybe that's just year 2 and bringing in more players, but I don't know. Because another thing is I was looking back, and I like Sean Lewis, and we'll see. But I was looking back at the MAC at that time. He did great at Kent State, but I also thought Kent State got some schedules where they were taking on some MAC opponents where the coaches were.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, I do also think that if Pat Shurmur clearly elevates an offense after you leave, I do have question about your abilities.
I also think the sport is getting more. So he runs the veer and shoot.
Aztec fast.
Josh Heupel and Alex Galesh thing in South Florida. It's the old Art Briles offense. I think just in general, football is adapting to it better now.
I think there are elements of it where it doesn't work as well as it used to. 4.5. is the win total. -108 to the over, -112 to the under. 36-1 to win the conference. 80-1 to make the playoff. 1,000-1 to win the national championship. All right, Colby. What do we? So yeah, going into year 2. I mean, I kind of my thoughts on this were. I remember your optimism. It made sense to me. He then went to Colorado. Didn't think anything of it. Didn't. And then when he left and the Pat Shurmur thing happened, it did make me start to wonder, like, how good is this guy? He then goes 3-9 last year.
Yeah.
So I'm going into this, I think, a little bit salty with a pessimistic view.
Well, I mean, look, I will say they got to be better just on. If you want to play devil's advocate, he was inheriting a team that did not do any, like they were like kind of a ground and pound team over the years.
Yeah, they were.
So like it is going from 1 to 200 miles an hour.
Shout
right
out
there.
to Brady Hoke and the lack of a headset. That for a little bit.
Yeah,
that's just a real football guy.
But they were also a team that just wanted to run the ball 40 times.
Great special teams, great defense, and this is kind of the opposite. Where the like his teams at Kent State weren't known for their defense; they were known for their high flying offense. So maybe that played a big role in their problems. He did lose his quarterback, Danny O'Neal, to Wisconsin, who was a big time recruit for them. But
Denegal,
he did get Denegal coming in from Michigan, as well as Bert Emanuel Jr. from Central Michigan, who played well there. We'll see. Stony Brook's a good way to start, though.
Yeah, Stony
the
Brook.
Seawolves, they're not live.
What a dumb game.
Are they the only
going
Seawolves?
all the way from fucking where Stony Brook, New York to fucking
I wonder if the Seawolves are related to those.
There's no doubt in my mind that human being and fish can coexist peacefully.
Human and Seawolves. What about that?
Colby, you see they're bringing direwolves back to life. You got to be careful. They might bring the Seawolf back to life at Washington State. So you're getting Washington State early. Then an early bye week, which I never a fan of, no matter what the situation. Cal at NIU, so NIU getting worked into the schedule this year. I noticed a little.
Well, no. Because San Diego State's departing. I don't think they would if they had known that ahead of time. I think this would have been. But that's a tricky game. I mean, look, Northern Illinois lost a lot, but obviously they beat Notre Dame last year at Notre Dame, and they've been a giant killer for a long time. But it's a weird game, but he's familiar with going there because he was in the MAC for so long.
That's true. Colorado State at home, winnable game at Nevada. That will be a pivotal game for them. And then another bye week, and then into at Fresno, Wyoming at home. That's where you want to get them at Hawaii, and then Boise, San Jose State at New Mexico. Brutal stretch to end the season for our gals. Are there 5 wins on the schedule?
Stony Brook.
Yeah.
Maybe Wazoo because it's a first year coach, but I think they're better than San Diego State right now.
I'm going under.
Yeah, I think they're going to go 4-8.
Colby's take on the offense, teams being able to play that style a little better. If you don't have the athlete advantage, I don't know if it's as strong as it used to be. So
I also think that this is another thing where the coaching in the conference, like if you compare the MAC coaches when he was there at the MAC
and Kramer's Pat Shurmur point as well.
I just don't know if he's a good coach.
Yeah.
And all right, so even if they win I'll give them their home games to start the year, and the Cal game probably not going to be a win. Do they have 2 wins down the stretch after that bye week?
So wait, you're giving them Stony Brook and who? Colorado State?
I'm going to say Stony Brook, Colorado State, and either Cal or Washington State. So I'll give them 3 wins at this point.
Okay.
Where are the 2 wins here? At Fresno, Wyoming, at Hawaii, Boise State, San Jose State.
Wyoming, they
can beat at home.
Yeah.
But still, I was optimistic
after
early.
the second bye. It's tough.
Very difficult stretch of games. Under. Next up, I'm excited to hear Colby talk about San Jose State because he's been talking about San Jose State a lot. Oh, another great. We need to have more mascot battles in the Mountain West. These are excellent. This is some sort of Spartan with that. I mean, come on. Can we do a better font on the shield? Everything else looks really cool. And then the shield has just got the basic San Jose State in there. They are coming off a nice 7-5 year. 7.5 is the win total this year. -110 to the over, -110 to the under. Wow. Plus 750 to win the conference. So we're getting down into the realistic realm right here. 50-1 to make the playoff. 1,000-1 to win the championship. Another one where you got to ask the question: if they win the conference, what's the path look like to make the playoff? Because 50-1 is a lot bigger than 750-1.
Guys, this is the one. You guys are talking Hawaii. I think this is the one to sprinkle.
Oh,
yeah. All right.
What's better odds, Sean?
Let me explain.
Do we need 2 tickets
Let me explain.
To make the college football playoff?
No, to win the conference.
To win the conference.
Well, so he brought in Niumatalolo. I think is a really good football coach.
Very good.
He brought
very tough schedule last year too.
Yeah.
Pause. He did oversee a team that decided to not tackle.
Well, that was president.
I'm just saying he was the coach. He was the coach.
Well, one of the things I really think that you're going to hear, speaking of coach,
so they are tackling though.
Craig Stutzman is his OC. I think he's going to be a head coach soon. He runs the spread and shred offense. He was Rolovich's OC at Hawaii.
Fucking names for these offenses.
Spread and shred.
It's
Colby, you should just get a job naming the offense.
Like something Patty C was doing in college.
That's after Chipotle. It's a spread and shred.
Oh, I was thinking of something completely different.
Okay.
Yeah.
But keep an eye on the quarterback Walker Egert.
Yeah.
He's a guy that I think is really good in this offense. It's year 2 of that offense.
Yeah.
The defense. What another thing that was smart with Niumatalolo is he was able to retain the DC when Brent Brennan left for Arizona. Their defenses had been good under Brent Brennan, so he retained the DC, so they kept that continuity, and then brought in the spread and shred. And they should have beat Boise last year. They should have beat and look at the schedule this year. What's the thing you notice? No UNLV, no Boise.
Teams. Yeah.
So, and they open with the Chippewas.
Fire up Chips.
Yes.
At Texas.
Don't like playing Texas in September 6th.
Getting Arch early though.
I got that as a loss, but
it's gonna be.
I'm fascinated by watching that one.
It's gonna be hot as shit.
I mean, it's also just you're getting Texas in a season where things are going to be great, but
a lot of expectations.
Do you know who they play the week before, Sean? At Ohio State.
Ooh, letdown opportunity.
Dun, dun, dun. I mean, come on, that's a letdown spot if I've ever seen one. Off the bye, early bye, don't like that. You got the Idaho Vandals, which
their coach left.
They lost their coach, and I'm guessing they lost a lot of players. Then you get at Stanford,
who they beat last year, and I think Stanford
winnable.
got worse. I think San Jose State got better.
New Mexico homecoming at home, and then at Wyoming, at Utah
tricky.
State. They play
one of those ones is tricky.
4 road games in their first 7. So I mean, this is another one. Maybe you wait and take a live number, but I think if they're starting to rattle off wins,
I think they lose at Texas, and then they either lose at Wyoming or at Utah State.
But I like getting Wyoming before it gets really cold.
Yeah, I don't think you lose both.
Yeah.
But I think you might lose one of those.
Yeah, I'm like. Yeah, let's.
But then look at how they close this out. This is pretty doable.
Yeah,
Hawaii at home, Air Force at home,
and and you got to love the fact that Niumatalolo is from the school of triple option, where
he's played Air Force.
Yeah,
I think there's definitely an advantage there.
At Nevada, at San Diego State, Fresno State at home.
They didn't give themselves a nice road slate. I mean, having six road games,
but 5 of them were teams with losing records last year.
Yeah, but 6 road games, 4 in the first 7 and 2 back-to-back spots. That's tough.
True.
They're going to be 8-4, 9.
I'm all over this. I think that and remember, guys, they could be hosting because the best record host. So
you're saying they're going to beat Stanford, they're going to beat Wyoming, they're going to handle their home games.
I mean,
they're going to beat
I
Nevada
actually think they're the most talented. Like, if you're looking at the talent on the roster, maybe you make a case with Fresno. I don't see many teams that besides Texas and Fresno that have a more talented roster than them.
So if they have 6, they win their 6 home games, right?
Yeah.
Central Michigan, Idaho, New Mexico, Hawaii, Air Force, and Fresno. We need 2 games, 2 road games. Stanford and Wyoming.
Yeah.
Or Nevada.
They could also win at San Diego State.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I got them winning at San Diego State. For
lot
sure.
of paths to get there. I'll go over. Jesus.
But I think this is you talk about the future though, man. Plus 750 to win the Mountain West. If they're hosting, they should have beat Boise last year in San Jose.
Okay, I'll note that. That might be a better play than the over, right? Because they can win it with 9 wins, probably.
Yeah. I mean, especially one of those losses to Texas, or let's say maybe Stanford is better than we realize. Maybe they lose. What would you rank the toughest 4 opponents on the schedule? Obviously, Texas is one. Who is the second best, the second scariest opponent to? It's probably Fresno that late in the year because Entz will have his offense installed, right? It's a rivalry game.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, they don't catch the hard teams. They have some different, like at Utah
Conference
State, at Wyoming is tricky. But Air Force might be
look,
okay.
if you told me you had to play at Wyoming and at Utah State, I would want Wyoming early before it gets really cold.
I mean, I could talk myself into them going undefeated.
That
letdown spot for Texas after Ohio State.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Just in general, I could get to 12-0.
Yeah.
Hey, of course, sign up over at Underdog Fantasy. Use a promo code SGPN. Get a nice deposit bonus up to $1,000. Kramer and I drafted Best Ball Mania all summer long. $25 entry fee, and you can win $2 million.
Yes, sir.
Count me in. High or lower, very fun with the pick'em. They got it for college football season long and college football week 0. Those lines are dropping soon. Stay tuned. But in the meantime, just smash the Best Ball Mania draft. Get in while you can. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. Deposit match up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. The rhythm is gonna bet you, as the great CJ Sullivan says. And if you're getting serious about betting college football this season, you got to have your own college football model. Very easy to build your own model. Back test it with sweet data, and the power trends come in, and they just start smashing. If you're looking to get stuff, get going now. MLB, WNBA, player props, lot of ways to win. Thanks to our good buddies over at Rhythm. You get a 7-day free trial. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Home stretch, 3 teams.
Home stretch is right, Sean. And it's we're on the West Coast, so there's lots of mountains and terrain on that home stretch. Not so much in beautiful Las Vegas, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, coming off a great 10-2 season. 8.5's the win total this year. It is kind of fun being in Vegas on a regular basis. I'm not showing you the right thing.
They have some cool old school logos with the Rebels. I got to find some like a cool old school UNLV. Rebels
Las Vegas
t-shirt.
has a shocking amount of cowboy related like statues and stuff too, like the Western like kind of theme
motif
that runs through some of Vegas is very cool. And just being there a lot, obviously the Golden Knights is easy to see that the city has adopted them, but they are a UNLV town. And I think it's good to see that they're playing well and not looking like complete ass like they were a couple years back. -104 to that over 8.5, -118 to the under, 650 to win the conference. So not too far off where San Jose State is. Full win better, or at least for the projections. 18-1 to make the playoff, 1,000-1 to win the national championship. Is he holding a rifle?
Yes.
This okay.
Yeah.
Looks a little bit like a Three Musketeers. I mean, he's probably got one of those fencing swords hidden somewhere in that jacket.
I mean, for me, at UNLV coming off a season where it felt like kind of everything broke right, got into the conference championship game where they lost to Boise State, but the bunch of they had that quarterback that quit after what was it like
Matthew Saluka?
What a loser!
And then the other quarterback, Malik Williams, they're both gone.
Yeah, and Malik Williams like really brought the team together. I thought that was a nice run. Then you lose the head coach Odom, he's gone. Dan Mullen coming in.
The OC Brendan Marion goes to Sacramento State.
You're only 6 returning starters. They had a very fortunate turnover differential last year at +15. I think you gotta fade this UNLV team.
Well, and really, if you remember that Syracuse game, Sean,
maybe they could have had one more. Yeah,
they should have been undefeated against teams not named Boise State. Now,
and Boise State they hung around with
Dan Mullen,
good coach,
100% out on.
yeah. I mean, look, to me, they went out and brought in a shit ton of Power 5 transfers.
Good for them. They have money.
Anthony Calandria, the quarterback from UVA, comes in, as well as Alex Orji, the guy who started at Michigan. So they do return Jaden Thomas. They got JoJo Early, a former Alabama wideout and TCU wideout. But yeah, I'm with you guys. Like he's a good coach, so he might be able to make it work long term. But
everything broke right for that team, and then
the schedule. I think the schedule is very tricky. So Week 1. Now they did get a little bit of help because Sam Houston's repairing their stadium, so they're playing this in Shell Energy Stadium, which is like the MLS team in Houston.
It's not a dome, right?
No, it is
well,
not.
so it's gonna be August 29th in Houston, Texas. You're playing a football game.
That sounds like a fun.
Sounds
atmosphere.
like a nightmare for a dome team.
But they're breaking in a brand new head coach too. So I actually think I guess I'll take UNLV, but I don't feel amazing about it. Phil Longo, the new head coach with the Bearcats. Week 2, they're hosting UCLA and Nico. That'll be a UCLA crowd, or is that be a UNLV crowd?
UCLA.
Pull up the Allegiant Dome.
There will be a lot of UCLA.
Yeah.
I
think it'll be split.
I got the Bruins winning that, but I mean, wouldn't shock me if UNLV upset them.
But it's one of the clear games where you're going to have the away fans taking over the stadium, in my mind.
Yeah.
Allegiant's too big for UNLV. That's the feedback. And when you get these big programs coming to town, it's tough. Idaho State.
That's a win.
They're doing the circuit this year at Miami of Ohio.
This is a tricky one. This is a back-to-back. They play for the MAC championships. They bring in DeQuan Finn at quarterback at Jagerbomb Stadium. Give me a loss.
Yeah.
By the way, UNLV laying 12.5 at Sam Houston. Bye week at Wyoming, Air Force at home at Boise. Cool. That's a tough stretch.
I'll give me 1 there.
Laramie, at least you're not. It's only October 4th.
Yeah, that's probably the one. But
Air Force, they will bring some fans to Las Vegas because there's an Air Force base just outside of Vegas.
Yeah, but they'll win one of those 2 games against Wyoming and Air Force.
True, but they're not at Boise State. No thanks.
Yeah, that's a tough stretch. Bye week: New Mexico at Colorado State, Utah State, Hawaii, and at Nevada.
I mean,
there's a lot of games
paper,
to win here.
On paper,
for the golden slot machine. What are they playing for? They got to be playing for some jug.
Cannon.
Oh,
it's
cannon!
Gigantic
Freedom
cannon.
Fremont
cannon. Yeah. I mean, look, I think on paper you just say automatic win, New Mexico, automatic win, Utah State, automatic win, Hawaii, automatic win, Nevada. I don't have it that way. I think they're going to lose at Colorado State. I think they're going to lose at Nevada because it's going to be cold as fuck.
Yeah. I can get them to, I can get them to 3 wins very easily, 4 wins easily.
I mean, they're going to make a bowl. Don't get me wrong.
Let's break this down though.
7-5.
They play how many home games? 1, 2, 3.
None in my mind.
So UCLA, Idaho State,
Sandpoint Stadium's closed. Kramer.
New Mexico.
They forfeited their home stadium.
But all right, but the stadium they call home: UCLA, Idaho State, Air Force, New Mexico, Utah State, Hawaii, all come to town. We already talked about the Hawaii contingent too. So those 6 home games, they have to sweep that and then win 2 road games, which is
Sam Houston could be 1.
Yep. At Miami could be 1. At Wyoming could be 1. At Colorado State, I could see why this number is where it's at because all their games are winnable. All of their games are winnable.
Just too much change.
I just hate Dan Mullen.
Yeah.
You know what? Fade Dan Mullen.
I think the under's the play too, though. I think.
But I went through that schedule and there's a lot of wins.
True, but like we're giving them a win potentially at Wyoming.
Dan Mullen's such
historically, Laramie's home field advantage is fantastic.
Yeah.
Just look at Dan Mullen. He like him doing media.
He's a good football coach, though. He's proven it over the years.
Let's see. Where do I hate
he's
him
from He's a Pennsylvania guy.
He was Dak's coach. That's a problem.
That is a disgusting.
Did a real bang up job at Florida, so much so that he went into the media for 4 years, and he came out. Now he
took him to the SEC championship.
He came out to coach UNLV. Sounds like a retirement gig. Fade him. I mean, kind of does sound like a retirement.
I'm with you.
Gig.
I'm definitely fading him.
All right, next up, we got Utah State. Sick logo, Colby. I've never seen this one before either. What is going on with now? Make the branding on the cattle look a little bit better though, right? I mean,
I mean,
that's a beautiful, but that's
it looks like it's getting bent over and just asking.
Do you know who their quarterback is?
Is that smoke coming out of its nose? What is that?
It does not
steam.
It does not look like a tough animal.
Just hit the gravity bong.
Looks like an animal that's asking for it from behind.
Oh yeah, you saying he's? Oh wow, I just see. Okay,
I just imagine him bent over a little counter.
It's more like leaned over, like look at my ass. And the Mountain West has a twerking problem with its mascots. Colby's got some mascots freaking off. Do you think You know what? What's the name of this mascot? Do you know?
Not off the top of my
bet
head.
Bet you it was named in the Diddy depositions. 4-8 last year. 4.5.
You guys remember what happened last year?
Of course,
right,
but remind the audience.
So right before the season, or right before media days, like literally like days before media days, their head coach Blake Anderson got fired on some scandal. So they put in interim head coach who was like 31 years old, Nate Drilling, their DC, and it wasn't a good season because of that.
You know what I also remember, Sean, is like I think last year we did this after Colby talked to all the coaches at media day.
Yeah,
because he was much
less biased.
Yeah. He had a lot more personal connection.
But I can tell you this: Bryson Barnes, their quarterback, you might remember that name because he is the pig farmer that ran for 200 yards against USC.
Yes,
I love that with Bronco Mendenhall. I think it'll work. Man.
He does like the pig farmers. Didn't he have a converted safety at
UVA? Brennan Armstrong.
There you go.
4.5. Devin Dampier last year was a guy that really took over, and now he's at Utah. So it's gonna be fun to watch. I just think the team was more talented than the record was last year. It was just that all that crazy shit. It was like Fresno.
Yeah.
All that crazy stuff where the interim it comes in, and I just think the team's a little more talented than people think.
4.5 is the win total, plus 134 to the over, minus 164 to the under, 49-1 to win the conference, 100-1 to make the playoff, 1,000-1 to win the national championship. I have in my black book. Colby likes to say that Utah State tends to keep a good program.
I mean, they won the Mountain West 2 or 3 years ago.
This is just things you say. Just bringing it up.
Yeah,
just bringing it up.
It's just what can Mendenhall do year one here?
Yeah.
And Colby, this is for the audience. Colby really likes Mendenhall, so just keep that in mind.
He's a really good football coach
when he's picking winners here.
Yeah,
he did. Well, he was one of those fine people.
He won in
Charlottesville.
He won in Blacksburg. He's the only Virginia coach to win in Blacksburg.
I know. That's fine. You're right. Justin Fuente.
Yeah.
UTEP at Texas A&M. Wow.
I think they get UTEP.
Air Force at home. McNeese is Will Wade helping the football team out at Vanderbilt. So
so they want to get pissed on. Huh?
A number of winnable games here,
but also two tough.
I got him having 2 wins at that first bye week.
Only 2.
Yes, McNeese and UTEP.
Sounds right. Yeah.
But I will say, Vanderbilt did fuck around and lose to Georgia State last year. So they need to take it serious.
For as much as you like Vanderbilt, they do have the ability to fuck up an easy game. Also,
2 wins,
Texas A&M has at Notre Dame on deck.
They're not going to go to fucking College Station and win. You're game 2 of installing a new offense, new defense.
I'm just saying, Texas A&M has Notre Dame on deck in this spot. Worth noting. So what? 3 wins? 2 wins? 3 wins? 2?
Yeah.
Bye week, then at Hawaii, loss. San Jose State, loss. At New Mexico, Jesus.
They can win one of those.
That's tricky. I almost want to go 3 early and 0 here.
I think 3 going into the second bye is a reasonable take.
Then they have Nevada at UNLV, at Fresno, Boise State. Where are the wins?
Yeah.
Where are the wins?
I want to Colby's point.
Let's
they
hear
are
it. How does he get
team.
Bronco there?
I'll just trust it. Look, where are the wins? Well, if you look back at New Mexico last year, they were projected to win like 2 games. He won 5.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you're right. He is a good coach. I'll take the over, but I'm not locking this up.
I'll take the over.
Not so fast.
6 and 6.
Give me the under.
Pig
not
farmers.
So fresh.
Pig farmer represent.
I've got way too many overs in the Mountain West.
No, you know. I think you're actually somewhat balanced, right?
No, okay. How many do I have? Please verify.
5.
Ooh.
2, 3. Yeah. 1, 4, 5. You got 5 overs and you got 6 unders.
Oh boy.
1 team left.
All right, give me the over on Utah State.
Really?
It's not going to be Wyoming.
All right.
I don't like this one though. Like Colby said. I mean, Colby said he liked it, but I don't like it. Oh my goodness. Look, I mean, the vibes of the mascot hang in the Mountain West is so strong. Shout out to the Wyoming Cowboys.
Who burned the fuck out of me last year, by the way.
Yeah, they had a down year. I mean, typically they're a team you can at least rely on to show up at home.
Back too, like I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, 8-4 and 20. 3, and then 3 and 9 last year.
Really hit the wall.
5.5 is the win total, plus 152 to the over, minus 188 to the under.
Wasn't a big fan of the OC they brought in last year, Jay Johnson. I should have paid more attention to that. But
31-1 to win the conference, 80-1 to win or to make the playoff, 1,000-1 to win the national championship. Generally, the Wyoming number comes down to what does their home slate look like,
and when do they play it?
And the good news is they didn't schedule an FCS like Idaho with Jason Eck coaching them, because Jason Eck went in there and won last year.
Yeah.
They could beat Akron. I do think this is the best Akron team in 5 years. But
Zips
at Akron, what is that line week 1?
Let's see.
I would assume Wyoming -3.
Wyoming
8.5.
Damn,
really? Okay,
they're that high on Wyoming.
Colby, Akron's money line is plus 250.
2-5
I'll
Mountain
take the
West
points.
Play last year.
But yeah, I think they do. They are a more talented roster than Akron, so they should get that.
Northern Iowa win.
Yes.
Utah
At home,
loss.
at Colorado,
Loss.
Well, I'll say loss.
Look at Kramer.
Bye week. I accidentally gave Colorado a win and said something nice. UNLV.
They get them. Give me that third win.
All right. San Jose State
No.
at Air Force.
No.
Colorado State. They get.
Yes.
Okay, so they're at four wins right now, or 3?
4
4 wins.
at the snapper. We gave that as a loss already.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a loss. Bye week at Fresno.
Loss.
Nevada, maybe a win.
Maybe, but that still puts you on the
At
under.
Hawaii, loss. I'm just giving
Under.
Hawaii all their home wins.
Under 5.5.
Yeah.
Under. I already
This is a fairly
shared
easy,
this with you.
fairly easy team to be out of. All right.
Well, except for when they're playing at home and they're a home dog and we're in Vegas and it's like, all right, we're gonna take.
yeah, well,
which
some of those
game?
situations,
Which-
but they don't have any of those fun situations.
I'm making a prediction. Let's see.
I mean, look at maybe
They're not playing Friday night at all.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Yeah, how are we supposed to take them as a home dog if they don't play any Friday night? How do they have no Friday night games?
Because they got their ass whooped on public TV last year, right?
Wow.
Public TV.
Oh, I'm so out on this team, you cowards.
That's
the
their
best thing
sweet
about
spot.
Laramie is Friday night football.
Yeah.
They're an easy team to
It's
fade.
tough to fade that logo though.
That logo is fire. And Laramie is a great place for football, but I'm out on them.
How many points are they catching against Utah when Utah comes to town?
Watch them.
Are we
going to
have to consider them in that spot?
I'll say this, man. Look at the
Cam
history.
Rising questionable.
Look at the history of any Power 5 team that plays in Laramie, and that's
Yeah.
coach proof. You can go back. I remember when Chris Long was at UVA, they got fucking worked at Wyoming. UCLA got worked at Wyoming. Like
Utah's a tough
Utah
team.
does. They have Texas Tech the week after Wyoming.
They also come from the mountains, so
Yeah, they don't.
they're used.
The
to that.
elevation
They're
game
used to the wins.
isn't as bad. All right, since we had 12 teams, we upgraded it to 3 locks and 1 future. Kramer, what's your first Mountain West lock?
Oh man, we did a decent amount of agreeing. I don't want to be overly negative on Boise State here, so I'll stick to some positive. I'll say Air Force over 5.5, Hawaii over 5.5.
Copying me.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. I'm doing a lot of copying of you, but I will take a different future. Give me Hawaii, even though I like the San Jose State. Give me Hawaii to win the conference, and then 1 under. I think it's fairly easy. UNLV, fade Dan Mullen.
Oh, you took all my locks, Ryan.
Sorry.
I also like the UNLV under 8.5, Hawaii over 5.5, Air Force over 5.5. I will take San Jose State though to win it all at plus 750. Colby, what do you got queued up here?
Yeah, let's lock up the Air Force Falcons over 5.5. San Jose State over 7.5.
Yeah, obviously I like that as well.
And the third one, well, first off, play that San Jose State future, but Sean, put our future for the conference, but also let's put a future for the playoffs.
Ooh, okay. San Jose State at let's see.
Yeah, actually, cross off my Hawaii to win the conference. San Jose State to make the playoff, 50-1.
And the third lock, let's go with what are we doing?
That's a paper ticket too. Let's make sure we note that to the accountant.
The third lock, give me that UNLV under. I don't think it's gonna work year one.
No, Dan Mullen.
Yeah.
Just look at the picture of Dan Mullen looking like a dog with a couple short a couple chromosomes.
Great way to go out. Appreciate everyone tuning in as always. Toss us a nice rating review. You just
Please.
listened to 90 minutes of Mountain West talk, completely free, like everything on the SGPN network. Download the app. Make sure you check out the college football experience with Colby. If you want 130 plus individual team previews, our conference previews continue on. Check out all the episodes we put out because we're covering all the big dogs. And of course, as always,
thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
for Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, Second the Money Green. He's Ryan.
Boy, do we have a surprise for our next episode.
Kramer, let it ride.
Wah, 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 wah.